I have loads of guilty pleasures. I don't talk about them a lot. That's part of the pleasure of them, is keeping them, inside and personal. If you've lived with me for any time or been a friend and hung around a bit, you might actually know of some of my guilty pleasures, and I thought maybe I'd share a few with the internet today. A guilty pleasure is something that we like to do, but generally other people don't hold in high regard. I think some of my guilty pleasures fall smack bang into that definition. I've got 5 for you today. Let's start with maybe the least of my guilty pleasures. Leaving early for work on a workday morning, like super early, ridiculously early, and going to a cafe for breakfast on a weekday. Just by myself, like I have all the time in the world, and I have a coffee and I have breakfast and I pay someone else to make it for me and bring it to me, and then I go to work and I don't tell anybody about it, except you know it now, but you won't tell anyone, right? It won't take away the specialness of that. It's a really luxurious feeling, like I have all the time in the world. Like maybe I don't work for a living at a 9-to-5 job, or maybe I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm actually independently wealthy. And I might read my book or scribble in my notebook while I'm sipping my coffee before I go to work. My second guilty pleasure, I'm kind of hesitating to say it. I'm not exactly embarrassed about it, but okay, just don't judge me too harshly. I'm just going to say it with my eyes closed, okay? I spend an awful lot of time watching One Direction compilations on YouTube. There, I said it. And if I'm really, really honest, it's not One Direction compilations that I'm watching. It's Harry Styles compilations that I'm watching. Titles like, "If you miss Harry, you'll love this video." I'm in. I've seen the same clips sliced and diced a dozen different ways over and over again. And I'm just mesmerised. And of course, the way that YouTube does it, where you go from one related video to the next related video, I can spend actually quite an obscene amount of time doing that. Oh, that was hard telling you that one. My third guilty secret is a real guilty secret, because it only works really for me because it's a guilty secret. My third guilty secret is that I treat the gym like a lover. And what I mean about that is I haven't told anybody that I go to the gym. I just disappear for an hour or two, a few times a week, and then I come back into people's lives, and if they ask me where I've been, I'll go, "Oh, nowhere, But I go to the gym. I keep it a secret. No one notices any actual changes in the way that I look, so it's very easy to keep that secret. But until now, nobody actually knew where I was disappearing to during the week. I have a dirty old secret from years and years ago, and that's my fourth guilty pleasure. It's a game I haven't played in a really long time, but I started playing it in the 80s, before the internet, before books on the subject, before anything really. A group of us used to get together in my late teens when I first started working, because they were workmates. We used to get fish and chips and beer and go into the boardroom on a Friday night and play Dungeons and Dragons. We had homemade die, because in New Zealand we couldn't buy 20-sided dice or 5-sided dice or 3-sided dice, or 4-sided dice back in those days. And our dungeon master would have written the entire journey, the whole expedition that we were going to go on, and he would sit behind the cardboard, like you'd see, maybe if you've watched Stranger Things, you might have seen the boys playing Dungeons and Dragons in some of those scenes where the dungeon master, and that's what ours used to do, sit behind a screen, so we couldn't see his notes, and he had our expedition all worked out, and we would encounter dragons and drink beer and play. I also played it while I was in Melbourne for a while at an agency I worked with. There was a front-end developer who was into Dungeons and Dragons, and it was a little bit like Are you into Dungeons and Dragons? I used to play that. Would you like to play that? I wouldn't mind playing that. And I played for a couple of years on and off. So that's a fantastic guilty pleasure that I have had over the years. My number one, or my fifth guilty pleasure, which is actually my number one guilty pleasure, is drinking my coffee in the bath on a Sunday morning. This really needs a wintry morning, works the best, especially if it's raining so you can hear the rain against the window. Draw a long bath, make an espresso, hop into the bath and drink it. It's actually, I was stunned at how amazing it was. So that would be my fifth but top guilty pleasure. Have you got any guilty pleasures? I'd love to hear about them. You can put them in the comments below, or if you make a video reply, tag me and I'll watch that as well. See you tomorrow, everyone.